Hello, everybody. Welcome to our final night of Inktober with Arts Council of Princeton. I'm so excited to draw with you guys tonight. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into 20-minute segments. The first 20 minutes, I will draw the remaining 10 prompts. So if you want to do sort of a speed drawing with me, it'd be like 1 or 2 minutes per prompt. And then the last one, fire, I had an idea for doing a demonstration with pen just to kind of show you how you can get the um, the kind of glow of candlelight inside a jack-o'-lantern to really show up and look like it's very light against a lot of dark values. So that is a plan. So that would be 40 minutes. 20 minutes for the rest of the prompts, 20 minutes for fire, and then 20 minutes to share. So think about what you might want to share, and also keep in mind that you will be able to send in a piece of your art to the Arts Council of Princeton for a show with this challenge. So there's more information that will be sent about that. But if you want to donate the piece, you can. If you want to get it back, you can. If you either bring it and come get it, or if you send in a self-addressed stamped envelope. Okay, all tongue-tied there. Sorry. I am going to share my screen and switch my camera over and pull up this camera so you can see. I did take the liberty of writing out all of the prompts ahead of time just because I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss any. And even though there's like a little area for fire, I might actually just turn the page and make it a little bit, bigger. So I'm just going to make sure this is set to the right setting. Sometimes it gets, even though I have a lot of lights on in here, it gets a little dark. So I'm going to up that contrast and go back to the camera. Okay, so we have our 20 minutes. I actually have a little clock right here, so I'm going to try to keep to this. I did say I was going to use a regular ballpoint pen tonight, but I'm not entirely sure if this is going to show up. Yeah, I guess it'll show up pretty well. I have a second one just in case that one fails. And if anyone is really having a hard time seeing me draw, I have a Sharpie. Okay, so the first prompt, I am not going to do anything terribly exciting for this. Well, no, I shouldn't put that judgment on it. I'm just going to make sort of a little symbol of frost. I mean, I'm tempted to say it's not exciting, but patterns and all kinds of geometric artwork can be really beautiful. So if that's something you're interested in, um, that can be a really lovely way to make your art. I tend to ignore a pattern in my work, which is kind of a loss. I feel like I should do more with it. So I don't know. I'm going to make some other little shapes in here and maybe a little circles in there. Um, and just because I can, I'm just going to put little hearts. It's kind of fun to put a few little hearts in here, whatever you want to do. Okay, so frost. Chains. When I was thinking about this word before, it was sort of depressing. I was thinking, oh, this is really, not what I want to think about, being chained to my desk or someone in chains or other things that might not be so good for all audiences. So I thought about paper chains. I thought about how it might be kind of fun to think about when kids make paper chains. Um, and now to help it look like paper chains, I could have a little kid right here, maybe with some hair so we know they're old enough to handle some scissors, maybe. Um, with kids, if you just make a really big head and small features, except for the eyes can be nice and big. Um, that can make it look like a kid. And so maybe this one is holding up the chains. And then the other hand is maybe adding another one on. Not sure how this is working. I feel like she almost needs another another set of hands, but this gives us an idea. Oh wait, I needed that to go that way of what it is. And then if I have like little bits of paper around that, that's another contextual clue that we have. Actually, this doesn't really look like a little kid. I feel like it's some barrettes or something, and messier hair, something. Um, and maybe some scissors, like kid scissors. Uh, maybe even some glue or something over here. Okay, so that is my answer to chains. For scratchy, I could not think of something more exciting than a scratching post. I have cats, and so they are forever scratching on the sofa. Um, so that is no good, but they do make a big production of it, so I get to see it a lot, so I can kind of get a sense of what their body shape would be. And I feel like their tails go out. It's actually quite graceful, um, but it does not look good in the end with all the scratching on the couch. It's okay. Um, and because I have such scratchy lines there, actually that was unintentional. I end up with this scratchy drawing. But one thing I could do if I wanted to hide some of that is I could just kind of fill it in a little bit. I do have a solid black cat and I have a calico cat that's mostly black. So they both look like two very dark cats running around the house. So that kind of gets rid of some of the lines that I wasn't sure of. Okay, celestial. Um, so what came to mind is something that even yesterday in a watercolor class we were trying to achieve, which was sort of big clouds and then having rays, sun rays coming through. And it has this feeling, I've heard of them referred to as like God's rays, or um, it just looks celestial to me. So having that as maybe on the water, maybe. So these are the clouds. If I wanted to kind of build this up a little bit more, I could give a little bit of a darker value to the sky, and I don't want to compete with those rays, but then the horizontal lines here would make it look more like water. And then maybe there's land back here. So something kind of quick like that. Maybe that's a field or water. Who knows what that is? That's my version of celestial. All right, shallow. This is kind of super silly. But all I could think of is that song Shallow. Um, so I'm not sure that I'm going to draw Lady Gaga with any. I drew her right here to kind of give myself a head start on some of these, but I'm not sure this is exactly what she looked like at the Oscars when she was singing it, but this is my answer for this. I guess I'm drawing a lot of people tonight. Let's see. And I could cheat and just have some music notes coming out. I wish I remembered how they normally go, but that is as good as I'm going to get it right now. She's going to be wearing a fancy, well, imagine she's wearing something fancy. Doesn't really look like it right there. Maybe big earrings. Okay. Let's see. We're about halfway through. We're at 7:10, so that's good. Dangerous. Okay, so my sketch for this that I had come up with was like a little rickety bridge. And so this little bridge is not very stable. And there's an elephant on it. So there's an elephant with a trunk, maybe some tusks too. So we have some weight here. That's the point of the elephant. We have some weight to the elephant. And then on top of the elephant, we have someone juggling fire. So there's a lot of dangerous things going on. So there's a little person up here. And I think I just kind of made a stick figure in one version that I did of this. And so you don't have to go too crazy, but here's the fire. And that looks a little dangerous. So that is dangerous. And I mean, of course, down here I could kind of make a little river or something, so it's even worse. Oh, and you know what? Let's just add a crocodile down here because why not? That's the nice thing about doing some of these sketches ahead of time. I can add to them, make them, even more extreme if I want to. Hopefully that makes it funnier. Okay, next one is remove. So around here, because my daughter is 6 and loves to paint her nails, we often need to take off the nail polish. And so the bottle of nail polish remover looks like soy sauce. Not that ours does, but I'm just saying my bottle does. It's a new brand of nail polish remover. Now, I would say it would be easier to just, not easier, it would be better to have the context tell you what it is, not just write in what it is. But just because of time, I'm going to allow myself that one. But I will add some nail polish next to it and maybe a box of tissues because you need that to get it off. Okay. All right. I'll move this little shadow on the side. Okay. Beast. So when I was thinking about this, there's so many great um, made up beasts you could make for this illustration, but what I thought about was an animal I've seen in real life that just took my breath away for its um, size and power. It's bison. Um, and so just thinking about how big they are and I mean, they look cuddly. They look like they're nice and fluffy and they want to be your friend. But if you have ever had the opportunity to see them in the South, well, no, the West, I guess, really more the West. And I saw them in Yellowstone. They are quite dangerous. In fact, when my son and I went camping once, we pitched our tent right in the middle of a field that said, warning, bison come through here. And I was like, oh, that'll be fun. Didn't even think about the fact that we're in a tent and bison don't really care if you're in a tent. So we were okay, thankfully, but that could have been worse. I'm just making those hooves a little different. So anyway, that's my answer for just the power and the size of this animal is just really, really impressive. And we went to a ranger talk and they told us how this is really the animal that gets the most tourists every year, not bears or anything else. So they are a force to be reckoned with. Okay, so I'm just adding a little shading there, maybe a little bit on the horns. And can't wait to see what other people come up with for this, though. It could be anything. You could make up a dragon or something. It doesn't have to be an actual animal that you saw. Okay. The next one is Sparkle. Again, the 6-year-old is influencing me here. Everything has some sparkle in her room. She is really into princesses. So this is a little princess. I would like to make a modern princess that is not so sparkly and maybe climbs trees, but she loves pink and sparkles. So that is what we will do. Well, you do your own. That is what I will do. And I'm just kind of adding everything in a scratchy way. Nothing has to be too precise. I guess we need a crown because that's part of the sparkle. She needs some ears, actually. Now she looks a little bit like a Teletubby. Oh well, I tried. I think I'm going to put a little sparkle up here, like a robot Teletubby princess. Um, Sometimes when you draw, things just kind of come together in a way that makes you smile and laugh. And a robot Teletubby princess was not what I planned, but it kind of makes me laugh thinking about it. So that's fine. Okay, massive. So another animal I have seen in the wild on a whale watch uh, is actually I don't know what kind it was. It was a whale, but I don't remember what it was. This is a long time ago when I was filling my camera with film, traditional film, and everyone had gone to the other side of the boat, and I'm sitting there getting film in my camera, and this giant whale breaches right right next to where I was hanging out, and I couldn't believe how massive it was. And I just thought if I was in the water, I know they don't eat people, but it was so terrifying. I just thought um, that really would have scared the heck out of me. The tail might be bigger in real life, but maybe it's in the coming out of the water up there. So that is my massive whale, which seems a little bit intrigued by the princess robot Teletubby. Okay, Rush. This should be so much more exciting, but here I just have a person um, trying to run through the grocery store to get things before family time is needed or whatever the case. So it's gonna make a little cart. Carts are whoops, I didn't mean to do it that way. Carts are pretty uneven in these bars here, so it's okay if it's not quite right. And you can add a little face if you want, a little worried face. And let's make that the dad. All right, I think we did pretty well. So that was about 20 minutes, and all of the basic prompts are at least touched on. For fire, like I said, I want to do a jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to turn the page to do it, but I just wanted to kind of sketch really quickly what that's going to look like over here. So there'll be some kind of a stem, and then, just a basic triangle eyes, triangle nose, and then these little teeth. What I want to do is I want to build up a lot of dark value so that the glow from inside really, really works. And the reason I want to focus on that tonight is I see that in a lot of um, drawing and painting classes where people are curious, how can I make something look like it's glowing or light or white if it's a white flower? How do I do that? It's really by the dark that you have it next to. So this is going to be what I am going to work with. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this pen or if I'm going to go back to this pen. I think, well, at least they're both black. So if I switch gears, you won't notice, hopefully. Okay, I'm turning the page and we are starting this 20-minute session with the jack-o'-lantern. And I'm just going to draw it a little bit bigger. And it is a simple shape just to help us with this exercise. So again, that nice stem coming up. I mean, you can add little leaves and things if you want to, but I don't know that I'm going to do that just yet. Oh, this looks like one of those little tiny gourds, but I'm going to add more later. First, I'm going to add the little eyes. And the pumpkin walls are kind of thick, so you can add those in if you want there. I feel like the nose, we might get like a little bit of an angle, but most of that's going to be just seeing through to the glow of the light. I don't know if everybody's carved their pumpkins yet. I have carved so many pumpkins already this season, but none for the house. And my poor daughter is probably going to want to do it, and I'm already tired of it, but I will do it for her. Um, all right. So here is the basic shape. And now what I want to do is I want to build up the darks. So the first thing I know that's going to be quite dark is right underneath the pumpkin, right where that line of pumpkin touching the surface, that's going to be as dark as I can get my pen to go. So it's a good place to start just to kind of set an idea of like, where's my darkest dark? Where's my lightest light? And I'm not going to make fancy cross hatching marks. I'm going to use a lot of energy in my marks, a lot of sort of scribbly marks. And I'm just going to make my pen fill that area with as dark a tone as I can. And I'm not going to fill the entire page. It's going to take way too long. So I'm going to just start with this. And now I'm going to go up to where the pumpkin is and notice that, the pumpkin itself, maybe it's a little bit lighter here. So maybe this isn't quite as dark as I'm going to go in other places. So sort of a middle tone for this. And I'm just using the pen sort of straight up and down. But then I realized, maybe I could go a little darker because I really want that to glow. So I'm going to get my strokes to come closer together, making it a little bit darker. The nice thing about pen and ink is that you can really do this in a slow manner and it will evolve and it won't just be suddenly one way. It takes some time to build it up. So if you can tell that you're kind of going in the wrong direction, you can always fix it. That's one thing I really love about that. So I'm going to just really get some of these areas closest to the light to be actually quite dark, like that little pumpkin tooth, because the light is going on the inside. And so we're sort of seeing a silhouette of that tooth a bit. I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Just make a little bit of a silhouette. And that will help us to really see that inside of the pumpkin is glowing. And again, my marks are a little bit all over the place, and that's okay. As long as I'm consistent with that, it'll come together. What doesn't look as convincing is if you have all one type of mark and then you switch it up and one thing looks a little bit different. That can be a little confusing for people. So do the best you can to keep it consistent, however you are making those marks. And so this triangle eye I've kind of enclosed. I've gone all the way around it so you can start to see a little bit of light there coming through, but it's not going to be all just the white of the paper because some of that wall of the pumpkin is going to be just ever so slightly darker. So to get that to work, I really have to kind of cover all this area. Go every which way. I'm kind of just building up layers there. I don't think I'm going to do the internal portion yet because I want to get this consistently darker all throughout. And it's actually quite dark and almost as dark as what's happening down here. One thing I want to keep in mind is maybe in some parts of my pumpkin, it's like just ever so slightly lighter in the darker areas. So if you look at a value scale and 10 is black and 1 is white, maybe there's a 9 or an 8. They're just ever so slightly different, but they're still in this dark zone. Um, Sorry if I'm covering some of this with my hand. Hard to see, I know. But hopefully you're building up your own layers and you're starting to, maybe see some of the light come through your pumpkin if you're doing it. I don't know if you're going to want to do the same subject matter, but whatever you have that is producing light, all you have to do is leave it the white of the paper and build up all the other values around it. And it really is sort of this weird magic trick where it just pops. And a lot of times when I'm looking at a piece and I'm thinking, wow, that looks so magical. Why does it look so good to me? Part of it is sometimes a lot of dark values with just a few little highlights. I think for a lot of us, we're afraid to go too dark. Um, i- in pencil, in paint, and a lot of things. So if you really want help with that, one thing you can do if you're working in pastels or if you're working in acrylics, you can start with um, a dark ground or canvas or piece of paper, canvas for acrylics or oils, a dark piece of paper for pastels, and you can start to add the lights from there. It's actually kind of nice to have a dark surface to start from. And so now, it didn't take a lot, but as I work my way around, you're starting to get a sense of light from within. And it's just a humble ballpoint pen, and it's just being diligent about creating this tone. There are some little bits of white that are still coming through, but it's sort of covered in a similar manner all the way across, and the strokes are kind of close together, so it feels dark, which is what I'm looking for. And I'm not going to touch like where the teeth are. I'm not going to touch that inside part because that's that glow of the candle. I don't want to fiddle with it. Just to keep it nice and clear. I'll leave it alone. And then there's also the texture of the pumpkin because it's grooved. It's got these sections. I can come back and build those up too. Sort of leave the areas alone that are the protruding parts, and then where there's a seam, maybe darken up that area. So I can do that. All right, so I'm building this up. And so one of the things I mentioned is this area where the pumpkin is on top of the surface, the ground, whatever it is, that's going to be really, really dark. And this can be a little bit lighter. Maybe there's some reflected light bouncing back up. So I'm just going to leave that just ever so slightly lighter. Go back up. First time I really noticed this technique, I saw an artist who uh, he was very influenced by the artist who created the aliens in Alien, that 80s movie with Sigourney Weaver. And so he had made some kind of a world like that, which was very interesting and lots of little complex components to it. But he had one little light on in this dark place. And so the entire thing was all these really dark values. And just that one light bulb hanging on a string seemed to be magically glowing. I just stared at the picture trying to understand how he had accomplished it. And it just dawned on me that was the white of the paper, and everything else, probably 90% of that picture, was just a lot darker. And it really read as something that was glowing. Um, so it's really good to look at other art out there in the world because sometimes you come across a technique and you may not really fully understand it right away, and that's all right. Um, y- Plenty of information is available online, but you can also just uh, study it, sort of think about it. How would that artist have achieved that? There was no special um, glowing paint. Well, actually, I think with his, it's either pen or charcoal. I forget what he used, but it was a monochromatic piece, so there wasn't like some special paint, and it just looked like it was glowing. So I just sat there and really looked at it and tried to figure it out. Um, so the more you look at art out there in the world, the better, I think. Um, and of course, if you can ask the artists, I mean, a lot of artists are happy to share and tell you what they did. Um, I haven't come across too many that are guarding their trade secrets and unwilling to share. I mean, a lot of people are proud of the fact that they know how to do those techniques, so they want to tell you about it. Um, okay, I'm just going to put a little bit into the stem. I have to kind of keep this value up a bit because, to go from all these really dark, lovely values to this sort of white stem isn't, it kind of loses the effect. So if I want to continue the effect, I just have to keep adding some more dark. And those stems kind of curl. So I could just make my pen curl, make these marks that kind of go up and over. And that is going to give us sort of a directional flow. And why not just make a cute little curl there? Why not? You can have a little leaf going off there too if you want. Um, okay, so one thing I said I was going to do is come back down and just add like a little bit here. Actually, I want to darken this up fully right there. The funny thing is with the ballpoint pen, if you go to the other side, you're gonna notice, actually you guys can't see it here, but you're gonna notice that your marks have like made an indent on the paper. So you're kind of, if you're drawing on something else, it might pick up some of the uh, color or um, graphite from whatever's below it. Okay, um, so just going in here and going in a different direction, sort of horizontally, I'm just gonna put a slight tone to that over here as well. I'm sort of softly doing this. And I think this one, I didn't really mean to put this here, but maybe I did, I forgot. Just gonna make this a little darker. All right, so that to me looks like part of the pumpkin here, the pumpkin walls. But actually, if that's what I'm seeing there, I probably should see it here too. So I'm just gonna add this in for consistency. I'm gonna make this a little thinner. And actually over here too. Um, actually on both of them. Maybe there too. Actually, I think it looks cool down here on the teeth where it is just white. So I'm gonna let that be. Sometimes it just works. You're like, I don't know why that worked, but it worked, and I'm just gonna let it be. And I'm gonna just start to kind of find these seams in the pumpkin that I want to bring down. Maybe one over here as well. Um, so another thing I could do, because right now it's just the pumpkin and a little bit of shading here. Um, it's convincing, but I could start to just add this darkish tone around the pumpkin, which may help it feel like it is sort of a spooky pumpkin in the night. Now, one thing that may happen though is that the light coming out from the bottom where the mouth is may add some light down here. So up here is pretty safe to add this even tone of dark, but when it gets down here, I might change it a bit. So next time you're out with people at a restaurant or just, getting a cup of coffee or something, Bring a pen and just practice doodling and playing with how you can make different tones. It doesn't have to be a very complicated subject matter. For me, my go-to doodle, as you some of you have probably heard me say a lot, is an octopus. I love drawing them because they're very fluid and you kind of it's not that you can't get it wrong, but it's really it's forgiving. So you don't really have to worry too much about, did I get the perspective right or the facial anatomy? You just worry about, did you get 8 arms in there? Fewer is okay. Sometimes they lose the arms, but 10 arms would be a little questionable. Um, you can just have fun, you know, doodling and getting used to what the pen can do. And then you can come up with a lot of really beautiful art just with a simple ballpoint pen. You can erase it, of course, but at the same time, you can pull up the pressure so that it's not so um, dark. And if you change your mind and feel like, you know what, that's actually not at all the way I want it to go, the marks can be soft enough to adjust. Okay, so now I've put in that sort of background area, and now I'm going to kind of circle around to the front with some shading, but leaving some light as well. And so it would probably be in a reverse shape. So I'm thinking of the where this is a smile, this would be more like a frown, kind of going the other direction. This is what we do a lot with water reflection. Oh, I didn't make that go out to the side enough. Oh well, I could kind of bring it out a little bit more. This kind of goes up a little bit more. Um, with water reflections, we have sort of things lining up vertically. So this tooth, for example, might be like this. Here's this tooth over here, this one here. And because a pumpkin is round and it kind of pulls back and away, we might not even see um, the eyes so clearly. Um, close that mouth. This might be a highly reflective surface. I think someone has really cleaned the table this thing is on. So it is really kind of reflecting exactly what's there. So maybe I'll give it more of a straighter edge to it. Now it looks really spooky to me. I feel like this thing kind of has the appearance of being alive, but um, it's still just a pumpkin. And you can kind of wind down what you want to include over here. You can kind of just make it sort of soft. I am going to darken up a little bit in here. Again, this one might be more diffuse on different substances. So like if this was a carpet or this was dirt, it wouldn't be this sharp of a highlight. But if this was a really shiny table that someone had just cleaned, it makes sense that it would be more of a mirror reflection almost. Thing looks really, really intense. I don't know how you guys are doing, but maybe you won't want to carve a pumpkin after this. Looks like it's gonna come get you. I don't know if people have been watching scary movies this Halloween so far, or the spooky season so far, but I've watched a couple, and I think I'm pretty easily scared, so I might be done for now. But we've also watched Hocus Pocus 2 a whole pile of times because that's what my daughter loves. And since I actually used to live in Salem a million years ago, right out of college, it's actually kind of fun to see. I don't even know if much of it is really from filmed in Salem, but it's kind of fun to see it. Okay, I think we have done a good job doing 20 more minutes. This is where I'm going to leave this one. Oh, and now I have pen all over my hand, which isn't quite like graphite. At this point, it'll take a little soap and water to get that off. Okay. I'm going to switch over and, oh, I see something in the chat before I do. Oh, somebody was asking where you can find the previous videos. They couldn't find them on YouTube. That is a question that, whoops, Melissa, let me stop sharing. This is going everywhere. Melissa could answer just in regards to where they are placed, if she's still on here. I think she is.
Hey, I'm here. Hi everyone. Thank you. Yeah, I think they will all be up by tomorrow. We just had a backlog of videos to upload, so check back tomorrow and they will all be there.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Okay, so our 20 minutes of sharing is now. Who is the brave soul that wants to start us off? And you can share what we did tonight. You can share other things, whatever you want. Come on, brave soul. Oh, yay, we have Carol. Go ahead. Go for it, Carol. Oh, lovely. Oh, you're muted, Carol. Go ahead and unmute.
I cannot reverse things in my head. Trying to do this reflection down here, I would need like another hour. I don't get the mirror image there. But I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this along with you because I was interested to see how you were going to make it look like it was glowing, and that was fun.
Cool. And if you are going to draw or paint, let's say a white flower, so not something that's emitting light, but something that's white, the same thing you would want to think about is like putting a darker whatever around it. So often in a garden, you might have very dark green behind the white flower, and that helps the white flower come forward a bit more. So playing with values is a really good way to get that to happen.
And also,
you
like,
did a great job.
The little bit of, like, I think the shading in there gives it some dimension.
It does. And I like your mark making around the entire pumpkin and up the stem. Like, you have a lot of really energetic marks. Seems very appropriate for Halloween.
It's hard to keep up with you. You're fast. I also did a fire of over the week while I had a little more time to work on it, and I just made a little dog at a campfire.
I love that. I love that so much.
Thank you.
I love the character. I love the color palette, keeping it kind of a limited color palette. What did you use for color?
I have just a basic set of watercolor pencils. So I didn't have many colors to work with, but it was good.
That's wonderful.
So I just did
limited palette is great.
Just did the pen outline and then used the colored watercolor pencils when you go over it with the water, and it blends the colors together nicely.
Yeah, watercolor pencils can help. Regular colored pencils can take a long time to build up the layer of color, but watercolor pencils, just add a little water, fills in the white, it makes life a lot easier.
Great. And by the way, before I go, I just want to thank you for this, and I'm looking forward to November. I've been doing all of your Zoom things since the very beginning of the pandemic. So I'm really enjoying this whole thing.
Awesome. Cool. Well, the good news is we get this November, and then I think they signed it up for February, June, and November of next year. So it's not going anywhere for at least a full year. So that's good.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, who is the brave soul to go next? Dot, are you holding? Okay, I'm gonna put you up. Oh, and Susan, I'll put you up after. Dot, go ahead, Dot.
Alrighty, I have Scratchy.
Oh,
I did that during the week.
Oh, it's so cute. That's awesome.
And then I have, you had said to try to to a fire truck. And I had painted a fire truck years ago, so I got a picture of that out. And
Wow.
tried to do it,
Wow.
you
Not
know, it's
bad.
with all of like watercolor pens and pens and sticks too. I did it with sticks. So
Excellent. It's
it took a while.
multimedia. Wow. And it's not something that we might like gravitate toward as a subject, some of us, but it's the kind of
Mhm.
thing like if you're illustrating something, you might, especially for kids, fire trucks are very popular.
Yeah,
So
that's what
it
it's
comes in
from, a
handy to
kid's
have a
party.
picture on it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Excellent. Did
and
you want
that's
to share anything else?
um I did the cat. I was gonna do before you suggested the fire truck. I was gonna do the camping thing too. Oh, I can't find it, and I started it, but I know what I'll share. This was my chain.
Oh, that's so fun.
Great.
So
That
that
was
was
positive, not someone in chains. I like
I
that.
love
That's
that.
really cool. That's
all
really
right.
nice.
Thank
Excellent.
you, and thank you for I love the seminar, this workshop, and also
Aw,
I had taken courses over COVID too, but I didn't know you had them since then. So I'll look up the next ones too. That'd be great.
cool. Oh, there's also, I think, I don't want to make any promises, but I think that in May we're gonna do another thing like this for Mermay. So it may not be the topic everybody wants to do, but if you are interested in Mermaid, we're gonna do that. Susan, would you like to go next? You held yours up a couple
Sure,
times.
sure. Well, on the topic of scratchy, this was my scratchy. I
Nice. Nothing
have
like a good scratch.
I have a couple of friends with animals, so I've been doing their pets lately, and that's been a lot of fun. And then it was
Oh, what a great collection. Okay, we had Frost. It looks like Jack
Frost is
Frost.
my favorite, I think. And then going
I love
fast,
it.
I started losing integrity of the actual drawing,
You,
but still.
you know what though? The chain, like the
Uh-huh.
life cycle or the food
Uh-huh.
chain, like that
Uh-huh.
was a smart interpretation. Scratchy, that's cute. Celestial, that's great. Ooh, what's your beast? That's cool. Is that
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
my own beast. I
I
made him
love it. I love that.
I
It's
think
really
after last
cute.
week with the pig ears, I'm like, oh,
I was
those
gonna
pig
say,
ears are
looks like a
fun.
pig.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah.
That's great. And remove, it looks like you're unplugging like
Trying to,
a
yeah,
phone
trying to,
charger.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Mm.
dangerous. It looks like someone's about to fall off a cliff.
Sure, sure.
And shallow. I'm
My little
curious about
mice
that.
under the ground. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. I like
And
that.
then let's see.
Sparkles, nice. Massive elephant. That makes sense.
Oh,
Oh, I was
and
just
then
about to say zoomies, and then I saw
yeah.
you wrote zoomies. That's funny. That's really, really
Oh,
cute.
and then my
Excellent work.
this came out like this.
Oh, I
Oops, there we
love
go.
that. I love how you have like the reverse semicircle on the
Mm-hmm.
tabletop or ground or whatever it is, and it feels
Thanks.
like there's a candle in there. That's
Oh,
excellent.
cool.
And notice
Cool.
for everybody looking at this, notice how the environment around the pumpkin has these really energetic marks, super fast marks. I don't know why, but this generation of kids in school, they're being told that this is scribble scrabble, and they're
Hmm.
discouraged from it. And
Oh, that's unfortunate.
when I draw rough and I'm sort of sketching like that, even my own daughter now will say, "Mom, that's scribble scrabble, stop." And I'm like, "No, it's sketching." Or it's energetic marks. So I just want to say those marks have importance. I know what teachers are trying to do. They're trying to make sure that kids don't just like go through a pile of paper and waste resources,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's worth just vocalizing that those marks are important and they're interesting, and that energy adds something to the picture. So
Thank you.
I just have to say that. Get off my soapbox now. Who else would like to share? Sally? Okay, it looks like you have a blurry background on, so it's going to be hard to see. So if you go under, usually I think it's under video, you can like turn that off.
Okay.
And if it takes you a minute, we can not put pressure on you, and we can like.
Here we go.
Oh, awesome. Okay, perfect.
I, unmute myself. There we go.
Oh, these are awesome. Oh, a
I
chain
can't.
necklace. Of
Yeah.
course. That makes so much sense. Why did my brain go to such a dark place? Um, I like the shallow puddle. I like the dangerous road out and the beast. That looks like an animal that definitely doesn't have good intentions.
It's
Remove,
hard.
you have a
It's hard to
raising.
draw fast.
It is, but it's good. Look how many you got down here and
Yeah. And here's
scratch. Oh, the
here's
pumpkin. That's awesome. I like that you didn't carve it. You have the light on it, and the light is also, is that the moon
it's the
or the
moon.
wind?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the moon.
So you have some light in the sky, and it has a round feeling. So that's really nice.
Yeah, it's a little
Oh,
more.
and rushes. Oh, that's smart.
I don't know what
Instead
rushes
of
look like, but I was just thinking of Moses and the bulrushes,
yeah, that's so funny. I knew what you meant. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful and massive. The big truck. It's awesome.
A wee little car.
Excellent. Yeah, I love that.
I
All
had
good
a-
things to practice if you're gonna ever illustrate for children. They love trucks.
Yeah.
Trucks
And
and
I had this
cars.
other one too for danger.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, let me make that bigger for you to
Yeah.
see. That's wonderful.
good.
Look at all the detail in there. Wow. But there's a little
Oh,
hope. If they fall in the water, there's a boat nearby to rescue them, I
yes.
suppose. Funny.
Oh,
That's awesome.
thank
Excellent.
you. Thank you.
Excellent job. Okay, who is next? I know somebody wants to share their work. Oh, Victor Hugo? I saw you holding up your thing. No? Oh, Alice beat you to it. Hold on. Alice, we'll do you first, and then we can go back to Hugo. That's beautiful. So it looks like you have this yellow, orange, red, orange gradation in the fire. That's beautiful. It's really nice. Oh, it's next to your pig too. So
Oh,
did you
that was
spend?
it's just on the same page. And
Yeah.
the pumpkin, it's terrible to trying to keep up with you. And I
Sorry.
feel real confident in the ink, so I did mine in pencil.
Perfect. Yeah. Switch over to the thing that you want to do. But I think in both of them, because you were able to get such a dark value, the light is really emitting from inside, which is really what that exercise is about. So you did it. You really did it.
It was fun.
That's excellent. Good. Good.
The
I
whole
love seeing that
course.
little pop of color.
And I must say, you were a savior during COVID.
Oh, that's kind of you.
It was
Well, you
really,
guys too. If I was by myself not doing that, I would have gone crazy too. So it was nice to share art fellowship and, just talk about art. So, Hugo, Victor Hugo, do you want to go next? All right, I'm going to spotlight you. Oh, that's awesome. You are muted, just so you know. You don't have to unmute if you don't want to, but that's awesome. I love the dark and the mark making, and just it's so wonderful. It really glows. It really, really glows. And you also have really expressive marks around, like in the background. And that's what I was saying earlier, is just those marks are important. That energy is important. It doesn't always have to be so precise. Like that gives this, really interesting energy to the piece. That's wonderful. That's great. Did you do the other ones too, or did you do some during the
The
week?
other ones,
Yeah.
yeah. I know you can see it.
Oh, look, that's awesome. That's great. I like your dangerous situation there. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Definitely falling off a cliff and singing shallow too. Your celestial came out really well. That's nice. That's really great. I love the cat and the chains and the frost.
Thank you.
That's
I value it
wonderful.
since the pandemic too.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad
Yeah,
people
that's when
tuned
I
in for that.
started doing all
Yeah.
this. Thank you.
Of course, of course. It was really fun to see you and a bunch of other people that are on this Zoom right now. post your work, and I feel like I've been following and sort of cheering people on and see their journey, and it's exciting. So keep doing it.
All
Keep
right,
doing it.
thanks.
Yeah.
I have one that I didn't think you thought of for saddle.
Okay.
Oh, that's true. I did.
The reason I didn't think of this one is my mother thought those shoes were good for growing feet. And I had to wear saddle shoes for years, and I was so sick of them. But that's a great one.
Thank you.
It's awesome. That is awesome. Do you want to share any others?
No, this is just pencil. You probably won't be able to see it. I did a couple tonight, but I
like
have
the
been
fig.
traveling a lot, so I missed some of your weeks. So
I love the elephants. I love
thank
that.
you.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
been really fun. I started with you back during COVID too. I have a whole
Aw.
book full of things I did with you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's really
yeah.
cool.
Yep. I can show you some other time. It'll take a
That would be
while.
fun to see. Or
Okay,
post them.
thank
Susie,
you.
you have your hand up. Would you like to go next? You just have to unmute. You are still muted, my friend. I don't know. I don't know if you can unmute if I click that. Did it work? No. Sometimes I can prompt it. There we go. I think I got it to the prompt to go through.
Here we go.
Yay. Okay.
Okay. This was Scratchy.
Of course it is. That's awesome.
Makes
so
a lot
funny.
of sweaters.
Excellent.
This I redid and put it up. It's
Oh.
my brother walking on a cliff, doing the rim to rim at the Grand Canyon, which I was mad at him about.
Wow. Wow.
But I tried to get the light and stuff. It turned out better in black and white.
It's amazing. That was a neat picture.
Ooh.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And
Cool.
oh, Frosted was my favorite. Let's see. Here it is.
Oh yeah, you
Ooh.
posted that. I love that. The delicacy of so it looks like you have a tinted piece of paper. And what did you use for the color? Was that watercolor?
The stem, no, it was pencil, and then the stems were just pure pen, a very fine pen. And the white was a white pen.
Okay. Can you hold it up again? I just want to look at it one more time. Yeah, I think you posted this, and I was like, oh, I love how delicate and just very sweet, like this idea of, yeah, first frost, or maybe not the first, but like just the very small little particles. It's such a lovely sensibility. That's great.
I actually bought into the pens that they had for Inktober, and
nice.
Yeah, it worked out well. Like when I did the nighttime thing, because you cover a lot of ground with one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually something worth mentioning to everybody, I guess, is that if you were interested in doing like Inktober has like certain pens that they were sort of explaining how to use, or sort of promoting, and I was trying to keep the materials a little more easy to grab out of your change drawer. But when an artist wants to kind of try new things and get better materials, that can make your life easier. You don't need to do it though. You can, but I also feel like you can make an amazing work of art on a pizza box. It really is up to the artist and what they do. But some tools do make it easier for you. So in that case, you were saying it makes it easier for you to cover the area.
Yeah. And then this is tonight.
Oh, I love it. Wait,
this little happy pumpkin.
Spotlight back on you. I love it. That was really, really lovely.
Thank
nice
you.
Glowing eyes. Yeah, wonderful. All right. Anyone else want to? I know it's 7:59, but if one more person wants to share, I'm happy to take a look. No. All right. Well, next Thursday, we're starting the November series for the Princeton University Art Museum. So pop in there. It makes me sad I can't interact with you guys the way we are here in that setting because there's so many folks. But and I never get to read the questions. So if you're wondering why I don't answer you, it's because I'm busy drawing and I'm not reading it. So you can always email me later or through Instagram or something. I'm happy to answer questions. Or if you go to barbara.dilorenzo.com, you can get my email off that. But I hope you guys had fun. I had fun, and I look forward to more. Take care,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank
Is the
you.
email
Bye.
out for
Keep
next
drawing.
Thursday?
What'd you say?
Is the email out for next Thursday's class?
So Thursday with the Princeton University Art Museum is going to be going through their website, not through the Arts Council. So I think you have to go on their website and log in and do all that.
Thank you.
And
Is it
no
watercolor
problem.
or is it watercolor or drawing? So we know what we're looking for?
It's pastel this time.
Pastel. Okay.
Yeah. But you can use whatever you want. It is totally fine with me if you want to do
I'll
something
try
else.
it.
All right. Take care, everyone.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you.
Barbara.
Bye.
Bye.